Look around. You see the trade-offs, the quiet compromises, the ambition that fades. Men who once moved like lions now pace inside routines. Women with real potential tied to paths that never felt like theirs. Something feels off, like a polite illusion. Maybe the story we're sold about unconditional love isn't the whole truth. You're not wrong to question it. That story can keep people small and predictable. Here's what most won't say out loud. Love doesn't fix everything. Power shapes everything. And when you commit without thinking, that isn't partnership, it's surrender. Choose with your eyes open, or be chosen by your cage. This is Machiavelli's brutal, unspoken law. If you bind yourself through love, marriage, alliance, before you command absolute power and perception, you don't find a soulmate. You negotiate your own captivity. You are still believing in fairness, in emotional reciprocity, in hoping someone will recognize your inherent worth. But the powerful, those who truly command their destiny, they don't hope. They engineer outcomes. They select partners from a position of overwhelming strength. And if you don't understand the cold mechanics behind that game, you will always be prey, a servant to someone else's needs. What I am about to share isn't relationship advice. It's not another communicate better, respect boundaries fairy tale. This is dangerous knowledge, the kind of knowledge that will make you unreadable in the market of desire, untouchable in negotiation, and unstoppable in the pursuit of true sovereignty. Master this, and you will never be ordinary again. Most people believe relationships are about connection, chemistry, or shared interests. These are illusions. If they were true, deeply connected couples wouldn't dissolve into resentment, and shared interests wouldn't lead to stagnant lives. Commitment isn't about emotional resonance, it's about strategy, cold, tactical, Machiavellian strategy. Niccolo Machiavelli understood that alliances are only as strong as the power dynamics that underpin them. When the power shifts, the alliance collapses. And the first thing you must understand is this: your neediness is a weapon pointed directly at your own throat. Look at the average man. He seeks a partner not because he is complete, but because he is empty. He fears solitude. He craves validation. He needs someone to witness his existence. And in that need, he broadcasts his weakness like a stench. He enters the negotiation table of commitment, desperate for a deal, any deal. And when you negotiate from desperation, you sacrifice everything. You give away your resources, your freedom, your potential, just to avoid the cold silence of being alone. This is the anatomy of captivity. The weak use relationships to fill voids. They are emotional gamblers, throwing their lives onto the table hoping for a lucky draw. They are reactive, predictable, easily manipulated by affection or the withdrawal of it. They believe in love as a savior, and that belief is exactly why they remain trapped. But the strong, the predators, they do not seek saviors. They seek assets. They do not need validation. They command respect. They enter relationships not to fill a void, but to amplify existing power. That is where you begin, by breaking your old identity. You stop thinking like a victim of circumstance, hoping someone will choose you. You start observing the game. You see how emotional needs are exploited, how desire is manufactured, and how commitment is leveraged. Once you open your eyes, once you watch instead of react, you start to see how true sovereignty is really built. It is not built on the unstable foundation of another person's affection. It is built on the cold, hard rock of self-possession. You've already seen the first cracks in the illusion. Neediness is captivity. Desperation is death. But to escape the trap, you must do more than just observe. You must transform. And that transformation begins not by searching for the right person, but by becoming untouchable. You must build the fortress of self. Strategic detachment. This is the first law. Most people are terrified of solitude. They drown themselves in noise, in social obligations, in meaningless connections, just to avoid the confrontation with their own minds. They cannot stand the silence. But silence is pressure. Silence is power. Solitude is not loneliness. It is the furnace where weakness is burned away. and discipline is forged. Machiavelli observed that a prince must first be able to stand alone before he can hope to rule others. If you cannot command yourself, you will be commanded by anyone who offers you comfort. Strategic detachment means reaching a state where you need nothing from another person. Not their approval, not their affection, not their resources. You become emotionally stoic, internally complete. This is not about suppressing emotions. It is about mastering them so they serve you rather than enslave you. When you are detached, you see the world with cold clarity. You are no longer blinded by the biological imperatives of desire or the societal pressures of commitment. You can assess potential partners objectively as assets or liabilities, not as emotional painkillers. Think about it. A person who needs nothing cannot be manipulated. A person who cannot be manipulated cannot be controlled. That person is dangerous. That person does not chase. They are chased. They do not beg for affection. They select who is worthy of theirs. This detachment turns you from prey into predator. When you sit across from a potential partner, they will sense your self-sufficiency. They will feel the absence of neediness. And paradoxically, this detachment is the most powerful attractant known to man. Humans crave what they cannot fully grasp. They value what is scarce, and a truly self-sufficient individual is the scarcest resource of all. But internal strength alone will not guarantee victory, because even if your fortress is impenetrable, if the world outside perceives you as weak, you will still attract low-value alliances. Internal power is the foundation, but in the realm of attraction and alliance, perception is reality. Most people believe their inherent worth, their intelligence, their loyalty, their kindness should be enough. They expect others to see their hidden virtues. This is the mindset of the weak. The world does not reward hidden virtues, it rewards perceived value. Machiavelli himself declared, "Everyone sees what you appear to be. Few experience what you really are." If you want to rise above the masses, you must master the art of illusion. Weaponizing perception. This is the second law. You must understand that the market of relationships is brutal and superficial. People assess your value instantly, based on signals you often don't even realize you are broadcasting. Your appearance, your status, your confidence, your scarcity. These are the currencies of attraction. And if you do not control these currencies, someone else will control them for you. The average person broadcasts insecurity. They overshare. They are too available. They seek approval in every interaction. They wear their emotions on their face. They are predictable. And predictability is the death of desire. If you want to command high-value alliances, you must become unreadable, like a ghost. No one can sense your intentions, your desires, your weaknesses. When you master stillness, when you remove emotional tells, you stop being a pawn on someone else's board. You become the one moving the pieces. This is not about deception, it is about design. You are crafting an illusion of power that precedes you. You maximize your perceived value before you ever enter the negotiation. You become scarce. You withhold validation. You cultivate an air of mystery. You engineer situations where your status is undeniable. You stop trying to convince others of your worth, and you start demonstrating it through controlled action. Think of the most desired individuals. They are rarely the kindest or the most honest. They are the ones who have mastered the illusion of high value. They understand that attraction is not a conscious choice. It is a biological response to perceived power. When you weaponize perception, you stop competing. You rise above the market. You become the prize, not the one chasing it. And when you are the prize, the dynamics of commitment shift entirely. You are no longer negotiating terms, you are dictating them. You have built the fortress of self. You have weaponized perception. You are detached, calculated, and perceived as high value. Now, and only now, are you ready to consider an alliance. But you are no longer searching for a soulmate or the one. Those are childish illusions designed to keep the masses emotionally enslaved. You are selecting an asset. You are engaging in a strategic merger. the calculated alliance. This is the third law. Wealth is not built alone. Empires are not sustained in isolation. The right alliance is a force multiplier. It enhances your power, stabilizes your position, and expands your influence. But the wrong alliance is a cancer. It drains your resources, destroys your focus, and ultimately leads to ruin. Most people choose partners based on the unstable winds of emotion. They mistake lust for loyalty, charm for competence, and shared trauma for compatibility. They gamble their future on feelings that evaporate under pressure. This is why they fail. The predator does not gamble. The predator calculates. When you select from strength, your criteria change. You are looking for someone who complements your existing power. You assess loyalty ruthlessly. Loyalty not just to you, but to the vision of the empire you are building. You assess utility. How do they enhance your resources, your network, your stability? You assess their own neediness. Are they also detached and disciplined? Or are they emotional vampires waiting to drain you? This selection process is cold. It is devoid of the romantic fantasies that blind the weak. It is a ruthless audit, because in the game of power, commitment is the most significant investment you will ever make. And if you invest emotionally instead of strategically, you have already lost. The alliance must serve the empire, not the other way around. But here is the darkest truth of all. The game does not end when the alliance is formed. Commitment is not a finish line. It is the beginning of a lifelong negotiation. And if you believe that vows, promises, or shared history will protect you, you are already exposed. Machiavelli warned that men are fickle. They are driven by self-interest. And when their interests diverge from yours, betrayal is not just possible, it is inevitable. Most people grow complacent after commitment. They stop building their power. They stop weaponizing perception. They allow neediness to creep back in. They believe the alliance is secure, but security is an illusion. Comfort is a trap, and complacency is the first step toward ruin. If you want to maintain your sovereignty, you must master the art of perpetual leverage. Your power within the alliance must always be growing, never stagnant. You must remain the most valuable asset in the equation. If you lose your power, if you lose your discipline, if you lose your detachment, you invite exploitation, you invite resentment, you invite abandonment. The weak believe that love means unconditional acceptance. The strong understand that respect is conditional upon maintaining the power dynamics that created the attraction. This is not cynicism. This is realism. You must remain unreadable, even within the alliance. You must maintain your own fortress. You must never allow yourself to become entirely dependent, because the moment you become dependent, you are no longer a sovereign. You are a subject. And if you do not play this game, you will be played by it. By now, you are starting to feel it. The shift. The world of relationships does not look the same anymore. You see people chasing affection, begging for commitment, sacrificing their ambition, and all you notice is weakness. They don't even realize they are negotiating their own captivity. You do. You have stepped outside the herd. Detachment, perception, calculation, leverage. These are not abstract concepts. They are weapons. Dark, cold, precise weapons forged through centuries of power. And when you wield them, you stop being a victim of the relationship game. You become the game. Most people will live and die as prey, emotional, predictable, chained to illusions of love and fairness. But you have begun walking a different path. You have become a strategist, a phantom. This is what it means to be unreadable, untouchable, unstoppable. Now here is your choice. You can let this video wash over you and return to your old patterns, predictable, emotional, captive. Or you can take this as your initiation. You can stop searching for love and start building power. If you are ready to walk further into this world, to master the game, to become untouchable, then this is your command. Subscribe. Not as a favor, but as a continuation of transformation. Because the deeper we go, the darker it gets. So the question is, Are you ready to stop being prey and start becoming predator?